Hello, and I am Paul Richard, and welcome to the Leverage Podcast. And so we have a special guest today, Larry Oberheu. Welcome, Larry. It's good to have you.
It's great to be here. Thanks a lot for having me.
We had a chance to meet at the recent Secrets in Healthcare in Springfield, Missouri, a little over a week ago. And it was my pleasure to have you on today. And I'm looking forward to hearing more about your product line, your products. Give me an idea. How did Fresh Mouth, your website's Fresh Mouth Club, how did Fresh Mouth products get started? How did you get interested in this? Give me a little background.
So a lot of people think I'm a dentist. I am not, but I come from the healthcare field. So I actually worked in healthcare for about 30 years. Yeah. I actually ran one of the largest health agencies in the country. We primarily did individual health insurance. So there's our, kind of correlation into health. I got pretty deep into it. So not just selling insurance, but actually helping create policies and things like that. So we got pretty deep into healthcare. We actually were large enough that a lot of the insurance companies themselves would actually create products for our organization because we did so much business. So we did a
Wow.
phenomenal job. Really enjoyed insurance, and I actually still do a little bit, but we're still in it somewhat. But unfortunately, Obamacare destroyed my agency almost overnight, actually. So hats off to Mr. Obama for that. So, but we kind of couple partners of mine, we kind of seen it coming a little bit. So we got a little bit more heavily invested in some other insurance products, such as supplementary. So we got bigger into life insurance and dental insurance. So thus the transition into dental. And actually that became more of our main focus, the dental after Obamacare. So we kind of threw all of our everything into dental. We actually created our own dental product, which was cool. So we still have that. But then we do administrative work for some larger insurance companies. So that became our main line, but we really never recouped anywhere near what we did in health insurance. So and of course the political landscape, is really bad for especially the individual health market. And so there was, we had a couple attempts at going back into that, and it just never happened. So we had some short runs here and there since 2011 when they launched it, but never really got back. So we started doing some administrative work for some larger insurance companies for dental. So we got deeper and deeper embedded into it. And then, I was like, well, I really need to try to, get something going outside of insurance because I'm tired of getting, my butt handed to me by the political landscape. So,
Sure.
so we decided that since we were kind of in dental, if we could, since I had the relationship with the insurance companies, I actually wanted to create this company was basically being created for the insurance industry. So I wanted to market it to the insurance companies. And with our relationships, that was going to be an easy one. So I actually talked to a couple up front, and they said, I said, if I could come up with a product that was truly preventative in nature and actually would help our oral biome and help prevent cavities and all this other stuff, is that something that you guys would get behind? And we could market that to your clientele, which would have been millions of customers overnight. So it's kind of a get rich quick scheme that never happened.
Okay.
Because actually the insurance companies loved it. They wanted to do it. They said, we're in 100% if you can show us the data, which we did. So once we put everything together, we really got behind the whole program. And I'll just, as a caveat, we initially looked at fluoride. So that's actually, I wasn't even aware of what fluoride was and what it did at the time. So we were looking at different fluoride, toothpaste. And in the research that we were putting together, that's when we kind of came across and was like, man, this just can't be right. There's no way. Fluoride is one of the most toxic substances on Earth. It's just a little less deadly than cyanide. So I don't know how deadly that is. So
Right.
I was like, boy, and that's when we kind of, started down a lot of the rabbit holes here. And it's like, my gosh, but by the time we came out the other side, I can tell you that this was not by accident, but we'll go into that, I guess, a little bit later. But
Sure.
yeah, so we threw out fluoride, and then we said, well, let's do an all natural toothpaste. So we didn't set out to actually create toothpaste. That was never in my bucket list, toothpaste, right? But once we look into all natural toothpaste, we really get behind that. That's actually not good for you either. So it's like, again, now, and I'm not knocking it. All natural toothpaste is not poison, so you're doing yourself a world of good by not using a fluoride toothpaste, even if you go into all natural. We're just not doing our oral biome a lot of good, and that's important. All natural toothpaste don't have the ability to kill the bacteria that causes tooth decay, gingivitis, and streptococcus, and there's fungus, yeast. We have all kinds of bad stuff living in our mouth, and if it goes unchecked, it definitely can cause problems. And that's why statistically you get more cavities with it. And fluoride's damage to our bodies come more long term, which is why they've been able to get away with putting it in our water and our toothpaste for so long, because we don't realize benefits up front. Up front, it actually seems like it's helping, because fluoride does kill those bacteria. Now it absorbs into our bodies, into our bone, and into our teeth, causes other medical problems down the road. It happens to be the leading cause of kidney failure in America. It does destroy your kidneys, and it absorbs into the bones. Now we're learning that that's called bone fluorosis, which is just another name for arthritis or osteopenia, osteoarthritis. All that joint pain and everything that we're just told is old age is not. It's fluoride poisoning. So not good for our body whatsoever. So putting these two together, we're like, wow, all natural toothpaste isn't good, fluoride's not good. What do we do? So I happen to know a couple manufacturers and stuff, and I've played in that area a little bit with some other stuff, in my past. So, we contacted a couple people, and I said, what would it take to make toothpaste? I have no idea. And then it was like, well, what are we going to use? What are we going to do different? But silver kind of was that thing that kind of came up the most. So, we got it together. We put this together, got nano silver in it. We formulated it. It really turned out to be a great product. When we went back to the insurance companies, though, we really had everything dialed down. We found out that there's all kinds of studies on nano silver because it regenerates enamel. It helps gum tissue. It actually regenerates gum tissue. It does all these amazing things in our mouth. And, so we laid all this out to the insurance companies, and they actually loved it. Believe it or not, they were like, thumbs up, we're all in, 100%. All you need to do is go back and put fluoride in it. And I was like, no, I covered that in the first slide. I can go back if you want.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we get it. If you put fluoride in it, we'll do it. If you don't, we won't. And I sat there pretty amazed for a few minutes, for a few seconds anyway. And I was like, the wheels were turning. I was like, okay. I'm just not built that way. Never have been. When I did insurance, I didn't do business that way. I wouldn't sell insurance products that I wouldn't buy myself. So I said, you know what? That's fine. I can just take this out on the road and do it myself. And that's pretty much where we're at, today here. So, so we just kind of, took it out of the road. We do a lot of trade shows across the country. That's where we met, over at the Secrets in Healthcare. But, we do a lot of health and wellness shows. And actually truth or freedom shows, political, a lot of that stuff, do really, really well in them. But so we're real fortunate that we have a great product that performs really well. People try it one time and they really, really like it. But that's that's kind of how I got into the market here. It kind of fell into it. But as we went, I kind of dug deeper and deeper into dental. So I am pretty versed on dental, our teeth and the whole oral biome and all that stuff. So people don't realize how important our mouth is to our overall health. Wellness actually starts in our mouth. Our mouth gut biome does feed our gut biome. So if we're not healthy in our mouth, you're definitely going to have some issues down the road.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah, give me the timeline a little bit. So did you say around 2011? Was that when you were presenting your idea to the insurance companies, or when was that?
2011 is where Obamacare came into effect. So that's when my health insurance basically changed, as we now know it, into what we have today, the ACA Obamacare programs. which are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
They don't even make any sense. I mean, I sold insurance all my life, and I won't buy that stuff. I mean, it's horrible. I mean, you pay just, what did I say, 200 times, I think 200% higher premiums than they used to be. And they got bigger deductibles, higher out of pockets, less coverage, lower, smaller networks. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, you get nothing for what they pay.
Yeah.
I mean, your first $20,000-$30,000 is basically you're out of pocket. So the insurance companies just basically pay on the back end. So they pay very little, and their premiums are ridiculous. I mean, I think, Trump was just on, they were talking about insurance. He just said insurance companies, their profits are up 1,000%, 1,000%. I mean,
Yeah.
not like they weren't making money before either. So, now all of a sudden they're just killing it. And we're stuck getting substandard care and, higher out of pockets, huge premiums. So it's just, kind of crushed the middle class economy, which is what it was kind of designed for. It was a torpedo for the middle class.
Right. Right. And so, about what year was it that you kind of
So
figured
about
out that
20,
fluoride was bad?
and part of 2018 into 2019 is when we
Okay.
started kind of putting this together, talking to the insurance companies, doing the research, and kind of putting it in. By about mid 2019, we pretty much had everything perfected. We had our first, samples and stuff out about that point in time. We started gathering our research and stuff. We went to the insurance companies right around July, August of that year, 2019, so we just, and then decided to kind of just start to market it on our own right towards the end part of 2019, just in time for COVID. It was a great time to launch a company.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
2020, that, the year that never happened kind of a thing. So we, by April of 21, we decided that, I had quite a bit of toothpaste.
Yeah.
That, we better start doing something with this. So we kind of hit the road and started doing. Actually, we started out doing small shows, market fairs, and stuff like that. And then we kind of moved up into some bigger and bigger shows, and that's pretty much all we do now is kind of travel around the country. So
Very good. So the insurance companies were pushing the fluoride in there. What would motivate them to push the fluoride? Any idea?
well, it's kind of I kind of realized it at that point. And I've been in insurance for a really long time, and on both sides of it. I mean, I got involved in policies and making policies and stuff like that too. So, but that was the point I realized that it's just they work together. The medical companies, the hospitals, doctors, and the insurance companies are in bed together. It's one hand washes the other. They don't step on each other's toes. They really don't want you to be better. That's just like, I think there's a pretty big movement. That's part of where we were at with the secrets of healthcare, of this movement of getting away from mainstream medicine. And I think for the first time in my lifetime, we see actual doctors turning their back on their own, careers and their own, peers and so forth. So doctors are coming out and saying, this isn't good. People like, Sherry Tenpenny and Judy Mikovits and Brian Artist and, Stella Emanuel, the list goes on. There's a lot of doctors, Simon Gold, who started that. They were all part of the frontline doctors that during COVID kind of pushed back and said, hey, this isn't good. We have to be able to do right for our patients. And they just wanted to, push the poison. That's it. Take the jab. That's it. We don't want anything else to work. Because if anything else works, you can't have a vaccine for it. So they have to destroy all the other stuff. And that's,
Right.
of course, we heard of all these people. And a lot of those doctors actually push silver, do silver, do vitamin C, vitamin D, and, things like that. These are things that we should have been doing. And it would have been way more effective than actually getting a vaccine. But, that wasn't their agenda. So I think that COVID was a huge wake up call for the medical industry. And for people are waking up now saying, hey, this stuff isn't good. And now we're learning that a lot of the medicines, a lot of these drugs that we're taking are, they're not designed to help us. Nothing cures. So we don't heal and we don't cure anymore. Those aren't even words that they use. As a matter of fact, they're pretty much forbidden from using those. Doctors don't say, "I'm going to cure you or heal you." They're not going to do that because that's not their game. That's not their MO. It's all about treating symptoms,
Mhm.
creating other problems, getting you on more medication, and so forth. And that's becoming more and more evident. But the dental field is no different. So it's the same. And the American Dental Association and the American Medical Association are both owned by the Rockefeller Foundation. And they do not want you to have good teeth. They do not want to heal and do all these things for you. It's all about treating. And if a lot of the products on the market are really designed for us to fail, and that's good news for the doctor, for the dentist, and for their field, and for the insurance companies. So they're all in bed together. And that was the first time that it was a big wake up call for me that, like, okay, it's just a big scam, is what it is. And they're getting away with it. But I think that walls are coming down, and things are starting to, people are starting to wake up to it. And that's what a lot of these conferences that we've met at are all about.
Yes, definitely, I agree. So it was about the middle of President Trump's first term that you were launching this thing. Did there's a lot going on with Maha right now. Was there, under the first administration that you know of, was there much emphasis put on this whole area of health? Or it just seemed like the only thing I can remember from that era, those 4 years that President Trump really addressed, it's like he said, if you're charging $10 for ivermectin in France, you're going to charge it $10 here, right, or whatever. That's the only thing I really remember. Was there much
Well,
more in the area that you saw that helped you or hindered you?
well, nothing really helped. I mean, his first term, I think, helped a lot of people. I mean, it helped our economy.
Sure.
I don't think it really helped me, in the field. I think that a lot of the changes that he made early on were set in motion to help, but they were to help, and to help lower the costs and to help people a little bit. But he didn't have enough time, especially with everything that was, that he was fighting, fronts all the way around him. So
Yeah.
with everything that he was fighting, it was really difficult to him to get traction on anything. I think that his first term was more organization, getting all the pieces lined up. So his second term was domination, and that's pretty evident. We see right now, and I think that that's the real stuff that's starting to play out, as we speak. And he's already made some significant changes. We got RFK out there talking about taking fluoride out of the water.
Yep.
Chemtrails, which you just go back about a year back, and you were called a conspiracy theory whack job, tin hat wearing guy.
Yeah.
If you talked about chemtrails, or like,
Yeah.
I remember even my mom told me, hey, Lawrence, Lawrence is when I'm in trouble. She's like, I can't believe you believe in that. She's like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, it's true. I said, I'll send you videos. I'll send you anything you want,
Yeah.
but of course, she didn't want to hear that stuff. But now it's like, she calls me up and she's like, oh my God, did you hear? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I told you about that 2 years ago. So, but you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
what? Hey, it's okay. Everybody's at a different position in their journey, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's hard for some people. It's funny. My wife and I talk about this all the time. It's uh, like Dr. Artis. Of course, one of his motivations was they killed his father-in-law.
Yes.
And that type of thing. And I
With
think, yeah, yeah. And I think some of our families are the hardest to convince of what we're doing and how we're accomplishing that, that type of thing. And yeah, they're distrusting. They believe that the government has our best interest in mind, et cetera, and industry.
Sure.
Uh,
Playing the business,
and like you
penetrating.
say, yeah, I feel like we're waking up. So let me explore a couple things you said there. I love what you're saying. So one thing is I follow a gentleman that's in the chiropractic world that he does a lot of studies, or goes back to a lot of studies, decades and decades ago, and even into I was thinking it was 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s, and just revealing some research that, he was saying was somewhere around in the 80-85% of diseases, like even heart disease, a lot of it is manifest from the mouth. Okay, because because like you said, that gingivitis and those things affect the what do I want to say, the heart. They affect all the different areas. It causes the inflammation, which creates the arteriosclerosis in a lot of cases, that type of thing. And I was fascinated with that. In your research, did you find things like that, or what were you thinking when you discovered that?
I was absolutely shocked by it. So I'm a believer in there's a lot of physicians out there, more holistic, obviously, that would put the marker at about 80% of chronic illness comes from the mouth. That's huge. So
It
there,
is
there was
huge.
even there was a doc, yeah, there was a doctor back in 1950, Weston Price. He's got a book out. It's actually called The Evils of Root Canal. Great read for anybody that wants to look into it. But in the 50s, he found out there was a direct correlation to every single tooth into an organ and a body function. So every
Yeah.
single tooth is connected to our body in somewhere, including our heart, and cardiovascular, nervous system, all that. He was actually looking at seriously chronic diseases. MS happened to be a big one. So MS, as you
Yeah.
know, is incurable. So no cure for MS. Actually, the medications for MS are horrific. I mean, cause
Yeah.
blindness, cause death, heart disease, all kinds of stuff. Um, but we really don't have anything for that. So he found through some clinical studies that he took like 1,000 people with MS, and the majority of them, and I think it was between 80 and 90%, had root canals or cavitations in the tooth that connects into the central nervous system. And he pulled the tooth, or if they had a cavitation, which is like below gum infection or rot, tooth decay, stuff like that, they pulled those teeth out, cleaned it. And now these were people that hadn't walked in 4 or 5 years, wheelchair ridden people with MS. They got up and they were walking after about 4 to 5 weeks, and all he did was pull the tooth. And then the tooth that he took out of the person, he put into a healthy rabbit, and that rabbit got whatever the patient had, which was MS, heart disease, by the way, diabetes, cancer, you name it. There was a lot of, the majority was MS, but there was a lot of other illnesses. They all correlated right to those teeth when they were impregnated into the rabbit. So that's where we were like, hey, we're that connected. And root canals are absolutely one of the worst things to do.
Yeah.
They absolutely 100% will cause damage in your body. The sweet spot is probably 15 to 20 years. At that point, the bacteria in our tooth that is capped off will start to seep into the body. And what happens is originally they were thinking what they do is they drill the tooth out, they clean it out, and they dump cement in it and they cap it off, put a cap on it, and say, hey, you're good to go. All the air, they're airtight, so the bacteria that is trapped inside will die because it has no air. That actually is not true. So now they know that what happens to the bacteria inside that tooth is it mutates. So it gets worse, a lot worse. I mean, this stuff gets really bad. So it festers and it grows in there. And then it gets to the point where it'll start to seep in. And again, our teeth are connected. So it goes in wherever that is in your body. When that bacteria, when that hits, that causes all kinds of problems. And now they're kind of starting to see the correlation. But, we knew this back in the 50s. But guess what? We're still doing root canals, and all that research. So here's a guy in the 1950 that finds this out. You think he'd win a Nobel Prize for that? No, what they do is they take his license away, they ridicule him, they do ruin his practice. So kind of a little bit like what went on during COVID there, right? You don't play our
Right.
game, you're not in our club anymore. So yeah, again, back then we knew right off the bat they're not looking to help anybody. So that's not the idea. But our mouth is, even normal bacteria and stuff, those seep into our body. And you were saying before about heart conditions. I mean, they say 30% of heart disease patients actually can be traced back to the mouth or toothbrush, believe it or not. Just your toothbrush. Our toothbrush is absolutely the filthiest thing in our house. The filthiest thing in our house. Think about the dirtiest place in your house you can think of. The toothbrush is worse. It's got 200,000 times more bacteria than your toilet. So there's that. I mean,
Wow.
Discovery Channel did a segment, and I have a poster at my booth. I don't know if you got a chance to go over there, but it shows a lady with a toilet brush, and she's putting toothpaste on it. And this was it was a Discovery Channel. They did a segment on it, and they literally said after the studies, the toilet brush is actually cleaner than your toothbrush.
Wow.
So you find that out, it's like, well, that's, all jokes aside, fecal matter and stuff like that, which is 80% of toothbrushes have that on there, is probably one of the tamer bacteria on our toothbrush. I mean, these things can get heinous. About 100 million strands of bacteria live in that thing, and we just stick it in our mouth every day, not even thinking about it. They make us sick on a regular basis. Sore throats, canker sores, intestinal issues are super common. We don't realize it, keep doing it. But 30%, can lead to heart disease, strokes, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad, and we got to really kind of get that under control. And fluoride.
And you talked
a little bit. We talked about that a little bit about all natural toothpaste versus fluoride. Fluoride actually does kill those bacteria and stuff. So it does purge our mouth of it. And I'm certainly not advocating for fluoride because it will kill you too. But if the alternative to fluoride is all natural, and about 90% of all natural toothpaste do not have the ability to kill bacteria. So especially the bad stuff. I mean, you got gram-negative, gram-positive bacteria, so some bacteria are easier to kill than others. But the bad stuff is difficult for antibiotics to kill. So it is difficult to get that out of our mouth. So we do need something strong. But, we also have good bacteria, so we have to balance that. So, it's a difficult thing, and, but we need to get it out. So, as we talked a little bit about before, fluoride's damage becomes long-term. So fluoride damages our bodies in a long-term situation. So that's why they've been able to get away with using it so long, because we don't see the repercussions immediately. We're going to see them down the road. And by that time, we're really not thinking about fluorides in our water, our toothpaste kind of a thing.
right.
So because it absorbs, so it'll absorb into our teeth, into our bones, which are the hardest part of our body, because soft tissue will be destroyed with fluoride. So our bones absorb it, our teeth absorb it. But what happens over time, the number one cause of tooth decay in America is fluorosis. That's literally caused by fluoride. So the exact thing is supposed to be helping, it hurts. In your all natural toothpaste don't kill it. So we're not doing ourselves any good for our oral biome by using those products. Now, they're not poison, so that's light years ahead. But we do need to purge it. And that's where we get the silver in there.
Okay. So that you said it's nano silver, right? Is what you're talking about. And so I've seen some recent videos that, especially one particular person talks about mouthwashes and how they destroy the nitric oxide production in the mouth biome. Does fluoride destroy the nitric oxide in the biome or not?
Fluoride kills it all. It kills our good, bad, everything. It takes everything out, destroys.
Okay.
It actually creates a very acidic environment in our mouth, which causes tooth decay and cavities and mouth problems, ulcers, and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, it there's some good there. It kills that bacteria. Also some really bad stuff because it's perpetuating some illness and some bad stuff happening there too. So in fluoride, we'll touch on that a little bit too. I mean, fluoride, we have to, because I get flack on that too, especially dentists. They really don't like me. But, what I always tell people with fluoride is let's just look at the facts. You can stay out of all the rabbit holes, and there's a lot of them. What is fluoride? Well, fluoride, this is an amazing question because I get dentists a lot of times say, well, it's a mineral. It's a mineral? I was like, why isn't it on the periodic table? Because it's not. And they're like, They're like, yes, it is. And I'm like, well, I could pull that up on Google and show you. Right? And then
Yeah.
they're like, then they dismiss it. Well, it doesn't matter. I was like, well, wait, let's back up. You don't even know what it is. And you're
Yeah.
recommending put it in your mouth. Maybe we should take a look at where it comes from. So what fluoride really is hydrofluoric acid. That name doesn't even sound good, right? That's what,
Right.
So it's actually an industrial waste product. So it is toxic waste is literally what it is. The EPA labels fluoride as hazardous waste material. It's got the skull and crossbones, the whole shot right on the containers. So when they make phosphate fertilizer in chemical factories, the waste byproduct is fluoride. So it is a waste byproduct. They take it right from the factory, they dump it in our water and put it in our toothpaste, and they tell us it's good for us. It is not. So it is poisoning us. It is horrible for us. And I tell Dennis all that, yeah, we do need to get bacteria out, but we probably shouldn't start with toxic waste. I mean, that's probably not a good idea.
Yeah, probably not to put it directly into your body, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Mouth is the most sublingual part of our entire body that is definitely getting into your bloodstream. So without even swallowing it, but again, it's in our water and we're drinking it too. So it doesn't matter. We are ingesting, because a lot of people say, well, it has good topical. I don't even like the topical. I mean, I'm not using poisons in my body. That's not a good idea.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So what we did is reverted to silver. So silver happens to be one of the strongest killers of bacteria known to man. So it obliterates bacteria, germs, viruses, and fungus on contact. There is not an antibiotic made today that can hold a candle to what silver can do. As a matter of fact, we got medication-driven bacteria. We've all heard of MRSA. You probably get that. So MRSA is a man-made bacteria, I mean, essentially. So when bacteria grows resistant to an antibiotic, we just give you a stronger one. Well, we only have so much. So our strongest antibiotic, when we introduce that, the bacteria grows resistant to it, and we have major problems. MRSA, C. diff is another one. I mean, these things, we don't have anything to kill them. But guess what? Silver kills both of them. Silver kills all medication-driven bacteria. Silver kills without resistance. So bacteria cannot grow resistant. It cannot grow resistant to bacteria, to the silver. So, and again, it's the only thing that can kill medication-driven stuff. So 6,000 people die every year of MRSA. That's a true stat. Every single one of those people don't need to die if we did silver. But they won't do it. As a matter of fact, if you're a nurse and a lot of nurses actually know a lot about silver, and they've snuck in silver and given it to people before. And you can lose their job. They'll lose their jobs. They'll get fired. I mean, It is not good. Yeah, they will not allow that to be used that way. Where they do use silver in the medical field today is in wound care, because nothing heals as fast as silver. You got a cut, put silver on it, and everything heals up really fast. Nothing heals faster. So severe wound clinics, obviously, a lot of really bad wounds they use silver on, and that really is beneficial. Burn victims, they use silver nitrate, which is silver, and it actually regrows the skin tissue on burn victims. So it has regenerative features, healing features, boosts our immune system more than vitamin C. A lot of people get hung up on the fact that silver is a metal, but it is a noble metal, not a heavy metal. Noble metals are just minerals that belong in our body, like the same as zinc and magnesium.
Copper.
Silver happens to be this top of the chain. Silver's essential to our body. It controls our immune system. Higher amounts of silver in our body make us more resistant to sickness and illness. Lower amounts make us sick more often. Now, a lot of people take silver when they get sick. It definitely shortens the duration. But if you take it every time like a supplement, you just don't get sick as often.
Very interesting. And not to geek out too much on it, but what does nano silver do in the mouth? Does it just rip the bacteria apart? What do you know chemically what happens?
So again, bacteria, germs, viruses, and fungus kills on contact, all of which live in our mouth. So silver does an amazing job of cleaning our mouth, and it kills instantly, kills on contact. So once anything touches silver, it just dies. It doesn't take days, weeks, or months like antibiotics, got to grow. So it kills immediately. But silver does not kill good bacteria in our body. Super unique. I really don't know of
Hmm.
another product that does that. There may be, I just don't know of it. So silver is super efficient, and why it does that is because it's a mineral that belongs in our body. So it's designed to
Yeah.
play nice in our body. We were designed to have silver in us, so of course silver is not going to cause damage. The scientific reason for that is our good bacteria is coated with a milk-based enzyme that the silver is unable to penetrate, kind of like it was meant to be, right?
Right.
Because of
Right.
water. So we used to get a lot of silver. Our silver used to come from the ground, plants, vegetables. That's where we used to get all our minerals. But everything has been engineered to lower our mineral content in our food. Our food has about 60 to 70% less minerals today than it did 50 or 60 years ago. That's a real problem. Most of people, I'd say 90%, probably higher, of Americans especially, have mineral deficiencies. And when we're deficient in minerals, we have other problems, and vitamins don't even work. So when you're low in, like copper, for an example, we don't uptake zinc and magnesium.
Right.
So that
Right.
causes a severe imbalance in our body. And about 98% of Americans are deficient in copper. Copper is essential to our body as well, also a noble metal. So these are just metals that are good for us. So we took something that was super healthy for us, that belongs in our body to begin with, and actually helps get more silver in our body, and at the same time helps wipe out that bad bacteria. So silver creates a healthier mouth biome than anything else is even capable of doing, because I don't know anything else that does that. So it really helps create a biome in our mouth that's unsurpassed, very pH balanced. And again, our mouth biome feeds our gut biome. So now we got nothing but good bacteria. So that feeds our gut. So the big difference between like a nano silver versus a colloidal silver, nano silvers are mostly made up of ions. So it's really should be called ionic silver, but you are going to get some particulates, so particles. But it's only about 2 to 5%. And I'd say 5% if you're doing a really good job. This isn't people making it at home. We're talking about lab grown, and people that are really making it well can get 5. Some people say 10%. I don't even know if that's possible, but okay. But
Hmm.
even in the 10% zone, that means if you're using a 20 part per million colloidal silver, at best you're getting 2%. 2% particles, the rest are ions. Um, Now, what's the difference? Ions is positively charged ions, and the reason you get that is just the way that colloidal silver is made. Silver rods, 9-volt battery, distilled water, you're making your own. Of course, again, you can make it professionally. They do a much better job at it. But the longer you leave those rods in there, the higher concentration of silver you're going to get, but you're going to mostly get positively charged ions versus particles, small amount of particle. Um, Now, a lot of people will say, well, particles or ions are better because it's not metal, and metal's bad for our body. They don't get it. Again, it's a mineral. Minerals belong in our body. We want the actual particle, because colloidal silvers only stay in our body about 10 to 15 minutes. So they don't pass digestion. It's strictly a sublingual product. Teaspoon under the tongue, you swish it around, it absorbs sublingually. If you swallow that teaspoon, it's not a big deal. But the ions of silver, actually, when they react, so ions are reactive with a lot of things: hot, cold, hydrochloric acid. When it hits hydrochloric acid, it actually turns to silver chloride. Again, small
Hmm.
amounts, not a big deal. You start drinking a lot of it, like gallons of it, which people have done, you will turn blue. So that's a real thing. And that's
Really?
one of the big things. People say, oh, if you take too much, turn blue. I mean, yes, that's true. But number one, it's the type of silver that you use and how you use it. So I was going to say Tylenol, but I really can't say that anymore. But you take like an aspirin. I mean, aspirin. I mean, they're certainly over the counter. You can take that; it's not a big deal. You start taking bottles of
Yeah.
it. This is going to cause some damage.
Right.
Not
Right.
good. So I think as humans, we always think, if a little's good, well, it must be really good. So not always the case. I mean, we will die without water, but you can die in water. Too much
Yeah.
is a bad thing.
Yeah. That's
So
right.
we need
That's right.
balance with everything. And that's the thing. I think when taken improperly, drinking large amounts of it, yes, it can cause. But you know what? The damage is your pigmentation. It's not killing you. So
Right. Right.
now nano silvers are pure particle. So a couple differences. Number one, there's the ions are filtered out. So there is no ions. It's a pure particle. Number one, it stays in your body about 6 to 8 hours versus 10 to 15 minutes. If you thought 10 to
Ah,
15 minutes was good, 6 hours is amazing.
yeah.
And an ion, when it comes in contact with a bacteria, germ, virus, fungus, it kills it, but it dies with it. So it's kind of like a honeybee, one and done kind of a thing. Whereas nano silver is like a wasp, it'll sting you as many times as it wants to. So it just keeps stinging. So when it comes in contact with a bacteria, germ, virus, fungus, it kills it, but it goes on just to kill again and again and again and again. So as it free flows through our body, it destroys free radicals, bacteria, germs, viruses, fungus, and just helps boost immunity and stuff like that. Now, nano silver also passes digestion. So you get dual delivery with nano silver, which you don't with normal. So you're actually getting it in your gut, and again, kills the bad, not the good. Helps promote a healthy gut as well, which is extremely important. So there's that. And the particles are so small. Number one, they absorb faster, so we're getting more absorption, and it can penetrate deeper, especially below gum line and inside of our teeth. So when it gets into our teeth, it gets into the dentin, and what it does there is just does what silver does naturally. It heals and it regenerates. So it actually heals our enamel. So, we got people that had cavities or cracks in their teeth literally heal over in about 4 to 6 weeks, not filling their tooth, actually healing them. So, yes, we can heal teeth. We can actually reverse receding gums. We've got a lot of people that between about 6 to 8 months have reversed some of their recessions in their gums, me included. I went up about 2 points on my gum recessions. And that's strictly with brushing my teeth. So, with the silver, which is pretty much all I use, but it really does great things. We're not really like a problematic toothpaste like Sensodyne or Pro Enamel, for sensitive teeth and stuff, but we heal sensitive teeth. So Sensodyne's a temporary. It's got microscopic particles that fill in the holes in our teeth. Our teeth are like a honeycomb under a microscope, and it just goes in there and it takes away the sensitivity. Well, the sensitivity really comes from the thinning of the enamel. Those holes get a little wider and they cause the hot and cold issues. Silver just closes them back up because it actually thickens that enamel back up. So it heals that enamel, including a cavity or crack along with it. And it takes away sensitivity as well. But when we do it, it's permanent. So it's not a Band-Aid. We actually heal your teeth and your gum tissue. And we're the only product on the market that can penetrate gum line, go below gum surface, and actually eradicate bacteria. So it really helps with things like gingivitis and periodontal disease and stuff, which is incurable in modern dentistry. And if it's bad, they got to cut your gums open and scrape that out. Our toothpaste can actually handle that on a day-to-day basis. And then we even have products like we have our perio switch, which we designed for below gum infections like gingivitis, periodontal disease, but it just overall keeps your mouth super healthy. But we've actually reversed periodontal disease, which is not curable in modern dentistry. We can reverse it in about 3 to 4 months of continued use of our perio switch and our nano silver toothpaste. So the two combination together just amazing, completely reverses it. And we've had a lot of cases of that. So we actually, heal and regenerate in our mouth and bring our mouth back to a very pH balance, good for our body, get our whole body back in balance. So we do more than just clean your teeth.
Yeah, no kidding. I love the fact that we're talking about this because it's a holistic thought
Yeah.
about the body, right? Because there's so many people in our space pushing one product, right? And it's like, well, take this, take this, take this. Well, you really have to step back and say, okay, how is your dental health? How is your eating habits? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What's going on? Are you under stress? I mean, are you this? I mean, all these things affect the body, right? And things like that, mental health, et cetera.
Absolutely.
And yeah, and so unless you examine all of those or at least have some indication of what's going on, you hyper focus on one area, it's not going to solve everything, right? Because our bodies are so complicated. And I'm glad you brought up the root canal thing. I was thinking about that, and I had heard that. I have one root canal that was done about, gosh, I guess it's been 10 years ago now. And so I need to be thinking about that. I just had a
You
tooth
need to
removed.
think about that. Yeah. You're not
Yeah,
quite at the
yeah.
spot where it's really going to start hitting you. But there's a great documentary to watch. Write it down. It's called Root, ROOT, Root Cause. You
Root
can
cause.
Google it.
Okay.
Used to be on Netflix. Netflix banned it. It's not allowed on there. But there's a couple platforms out there. I think Plex, Plex. You can watch it for free. There's a couple out there that you got to pay $5 for. If you got to pay for it, let me tell you, it's the best $5 you ever watched. I mean, if you're considering root canals and you want to know more,
Yeah.
phenomenal video. It was recently done. So it was done in, I think, 2018 or 19. And it was done by a Hollywood producer.
Hmm.
He actually shoots movies, and he actually had a root canal back 20 years ago. And then 20 years later started really feeling run down, very fatigued, all kinds of problems. Went to every doctor that he could imagine. Everybody's like, nothing's wrong with you, nothing's wrong with you. Try this, do this. He took every vitamin, everything. He just went through the gamut. And it's a really good documentary. It's very funny. There's a lot of humor in it.
Huh.
So he does a really good job. So it's not like just this real boring documentary. I mean, it's funny,
Yeah.
and he really takes you through his journey. And it's an amazing journey. It really is. And at the end of it, it comes out, spoiler alert, it was a root canal. And he had it pulled, and guess what? No problems anymore. So
Wow.
it was
Wow.
just amazing. And more people should watch it. You realize how important our mouth is to our overall health.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fantastic. Well, tell you what, Larry, let's walk through a little bit about your product line,
Mhm.
how people can get a hold of these products, and can you walk us through what your product line involves and
Sure,
what you have?
sure. So yeah, I mean our website, we're freshmouth.club. So
Okay.
we also have freshmouthclub.com. We have two different domains, but the .club is really what you want to use. So freshmouth.club.
Okay.
And we have a full line of products. So we were talking earlier offline. I mean, we're one of the few companies out there that not only have the all natural toothpaste and we have the right formulation that's going to be healthy for you, but we really do a full line. So we do everything from sonic toothbrushes down to manual toothbrushes, floss. We do it all. But everything we do, like, in floss, that sounds like something really stupid and really simple. I think like 95% of flosses have fluoride and Teflon in them. Too bad
Yeah.
stuff. That's not good for our body. So,
Right.
we have charcoal floss. So ours is charcoal and coconut. So, nothing in it, no chemicals, no nothing, just, coconut and charcoal, healthy for us. But everything we do is healthy and really designed to be good for our body. Of course, our centerpieces are Nano silver toothpaste. We have two. We have mint and we have a berry blast, which berry is actually elderberry, vitamin C, as
Hmm.
well as the silver. So it's kind of
Yeah.
an immunity boost blend. Definitely has some additional benefits to it. Tastes amazing too. But our mint is pretty. I mean, it's pretty amazing. It's our number one seller anyway because everybody likes mint. But
Sure.
our mint is phenomenal as well. But our berry is amazing. Um, all of our products, whether it be electric or manual, we use UV sanitation and everything. We talked about earlier too, like the toothbrush, filthiest thing in our house, more bacteria than our toilet. We stick it in our
Yeah.
mouth every day. So the toothbrushes really should be changed every single month. About 100 million strands of bacteria live in it. We just stick it in our mouth. And I don't remember if we said it on here or off air, but 30% of heart disease patients can actually be traced back to the toothbrush. So
Yeah.
not good. These things should be cleaned every day. That's what our UVs are for. And then changed every month. So we do a subscription for people that want to. You don't have to. Our subscription, though, you don't got to remember the last time we changed it. We just do it for you. We send you a new one in the mail. So we do 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or 4 months. We even have a 6-week option for people in between. But you don't got, we'll just deliver it to your door right there. And not like you don't buy the stuff anyway. We just drop it off for you. And we make it cheaper. So we discount it out pretty heavy, and we give you free shipping if you do our subscription. So, and even our sonic units, our sonics actually have the UV built into them. Very important. Always got, like I said, start with a healthy toothbrush. Sonics are the best brush we can use. They're less abrasive. They don't harm our teeth. But the heads for Sonics, like Philips Sonics, they're like $20 for a head.
Yeah.
Actually, depending on which one you have, they're 35 because their best brush is their Elite. Does 38,000 vibrations. It's a real nice toothbrush, but their heads are $35. So I mean, if you're replacing it every month, of course, that's a lot. Um, so we make it easy. Our whole kit comes with a brush head in there, and it's $21.95 delivered to your door. So what they charge for a head, we give you everything and we drop it off for you. So we definitely try to make it very affordable. Our manual kits are $19.95, so we make them again very affordable. That's shipping and everything included. And our toothpaste it's about $10 a tube, depending on which one you choose. But there's $4 shipping. It's $14 for our toothpaste. If you bought one tube, versus the whole kit's $19.95, so everything you need. But we'll
Yeah.
customize. We got different levels of them and stuff like that in there. Our Perio switch is very is kind of more of an oil pulling. Like a lot of people pull with coconut oil, but ours we use essential oils. There's 7 essential oils in there, like frankincense, clove, wormwood, white thyme, and then we ozonate the whole formula. So it's got a lot of ozone in it. Ozone's another thing that's amazing for our mouths, in our bodies. Actually, I mean, ozone's almost as cool as silver. I mean, I love ozone and silver together, and they actually work really well together. So ozone reverses tooth decay, doesn't stop it, it literally reverses it. So
Hmm.
biological dentists are doing ozone irrigation to a tooth that needs root canal. That may be something you want to look into. So if your
Yeah.
tooth needs it, they ozonate it, and that actually destroys it and reverses it with the use of silver, because a lot of biological dentists use silver. They can actually help to rebuild the tooth. In some cases, not always. About 40% of the time, though, that's a pretty good stat. But if they can't do it, then they would just pull it and do an implant. That's the proper way to do it. Not great news, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's better than getting sick, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, ozone's really, really amazing for us too. So we have the ozonated oil. We also do ozone generators, so we have ozone for rinse and stuff like that as well. So we have our ozone bottles, which are actually ozone and hydrogen, so they do separate functions. One of either one, so you can use hydrogen water for drinking and hydrating our body better, and then ozone for our mouth. You also want to drink ozone water. So ozone is 10 times more powerful than bleach. So that's how sterile it is. One of the most sterile products known to man.
Hmm.
But it's a very unstable molecule. It's made from oxygen, 3 oxygen molecules bound together with electricity. In that state, super sterile, destroys everything like a napalm. Actually, it's
Yeah.
super, super effective. But then, what the problem with ozone, I mean, from an industrial standpoint, is it's very unstable. You can't bottle it because it will not last. So it falls apart very easy. But if it falls apart inside of our body, then it falls apart and creates oxygen inside our body, which is our bodies love oxygen. It's actually oxygen is what heals our body. Our cells, tissues, organs, bones are all healed by oxygen. So when we super oxygenate our blood, that's a really good thing.
Yeah.
All that excess oxygen reduces inflammation, joint pain, things like that. So it really is beneficial overall. Even destroys cancer cells. Ozone melts the outer shell of cancer. Oxygen kills cancer if it can penetrate that cell. But if it's melted by the ozone, the oxygen oxygenates around it and destroys it. So they're doing a lot of testing with ozone for that reason. And it's very effective. So it does some really great things for our body. So we brought that. We wanted to bring that into our product line too, for people that want to. Obviously, you don't have to, but we got a couple different ways you can get the ozone. But that is really beneficial and helps keep our mouth super healthy.
Oh, fantastic. So, they can go to that website and order that. And you don't have to do this. Is there a discount code that you would give to
I
first
can
time people, or how does it work?
what I could do is get you a link so you can get that out to your people, and they can, we'll give them,
Oh, we could do
we can
that.
send
Okay,
them
that'd be fun. That'd be fun. I'll get that out. I
the
appreciate that.
capability.
And
Yeah, we'll give you a link after the show. You can give that to the customers. They can click on that and go through you on it there. So,
I'd love to
but
get them in there. I'm excited about what you've shared with me, and I'm definitely very interested, especially recently having my first tooth pulled and having one of those root canals and stuff. So, along with that, and so is there anything in closing you'd like to share with us? That we haven't covered, or what do you think?
Yeah, I guess that's about it. Yeah, I mean, we're just, the kind of like I said, our mouth is kind of the epicenter of wellness. It kind of is the
Yeah.
gateway. So people that are looking to be healthy, and no matter what you're doing, a lot of people are trying that. We got to eat better. I mean, it's kind of amazing how long we live and how well we do with where they poison our air, they poison our water, they poison our food, right? Um,
Right.
people want to take vitamins and supplements and try to do things, but we have to make sure that we balance everything out in our mouth. Like I said, is super important. We can't, our body's pretty complex, so we kind of got to treat the whole thing, every area, not just one.
Yes.
So we have to be healthy there. And minerals is another thing too, so mineralize and stuff. And actually, that's another area we just kind of opened up. I didn't talk to us about it too much, but we just opened up a new section on our website is the Maha section. So because we
Oh,
travel around a lot with Maha, so we kind of are in that. So we do Maha products now. So we have, we do things like monatomic gold now. So we got the nano silver supplements. We have monatomic gold. We have monatomic gold with methylene blue. Anybody familiar with RFK? That's what he does actually.
yeah.
So his methylene blue, which a lot of people, that's amazing stuff. It's really good. But he actually uses monatomic gold and methylene blue together, which the
Hmm.
combination is incredible. So we have a great product out there with that. Then we also have some supplements. We do just started getting into like blue spirulina, green spirulina, magungai, and butterfly pea. We're going to expand that out a little bit too. So we're going to be now we have soap and deodorant now too, silver based. So silver soap, which is just silver is amazing for us. So that antibacterial kills odors and everything. So and then in the deodorant is silver as well. So we're kind of building that out, trying to get in more into the Maha movement and getting products up there, for that as well.
Yeah. All right. Fantastic. Well, Larry Oberheu, I learned a bunch from you today. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, and we hope to have you back as your product line expands and get to know each other a little bit better. Here, I was going to ask you, do you have any shows where you're going to physically be at the shows planned for the next year or so, or do you have anything in writing yet?
The the only show we're contemplating Turning Point USA, the Amfest
Oh,
in
okay.
Arizona.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, that is definitely not in stone yet because we're still trying to work it out. They really raised their prices because they've expanded so big. So
Sure.
not sure we're going to be there, but it's a possibility that's in December. We will be out in Conscious Living in February out in LA. That's a really
Okay.
big show, health and wellness and spiritual show. It's got a lot of amazing vendors and stuff there, like over 1,000. They bring in 10 to 12,000 people, even internationally, over 200 speakers. Brian Artis will be out there this year, from what I hear. But yeah, that's just a great show. We've done that about 4 times in a row. That's our next major show that we have scheduled.
Very good. Very good. All right. Well, thanks again, Larry. I appreciate you having on the podcast here, and you take care.
Okay, you do the same. Thanks a lot for having me. Okay.